Live from the Spill Studios, located behind a liquor store off the I-35 interchange, it's time once again from a couple of cold ones with Corey and Carla.
Yeah. I gave you a little backup that time, you see.
Yeah, you really threw me off. I was like, what the hell is that?
I'm
I'm
sorry.
getting feedback. Oh, it's Corey. He's like, wow.
Yeah, I was testifying and give you a little backup singing, man, just adding to it. There's always the white soul singer who has like his black guy singing behind him, so that was me. I was the black guy doing the doo-wop behind you.
I have soul all of a sudden?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you got soul coming out your asshole.
Okay.
Just go with it, man. Don't question it.
I'm not questioning it.
So I haven't talked to you in a while. We've been telling everybody how we've been at Fantastic Fest, and I've seen you passing, but you've been so busy that I only talked to you like once.
Yeah, it was a crazy, crazy week.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's my first time really doing Fantastic Fest to the extent that I've done it. That's a great time.
How many movies did you get to see?
Well, I'm not like the marathon person doing like 50 movies a day like some people. I probably saw like about 8 movies, which is the average for people watching movies in one day.
Well, no. I mean, you can't see any more than. I mean, one day I actually did 7 films, but that was because 2 of the films were a double feature and they were 45 minutes long. So you can really only get about 6 films in a day.
Well, I'm exaggerating, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I can only do like probably 3 movies in one time, and I tried to do that one day, and everybody's heard me tell about my experience trying to go see A Town Called Panic, where I was so tired from watching so many movies that I fell asleep in that film off and on to the point where I was like having a nightmare, even though it was like a really family-friendly movie. I couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on.
I've seen it all the way through. There's no way to know what the fuck's going on. It's A Town Called Panic.
Even away.
It's just you. Lots of people love it. I dig it. I think it's cool, but there's like no real narrative to it. So every time you wake up, you're like, "What the fuck? Why is Horse doing that? What is going on?" And
it's a movie that is distributed by Aardman Films, the people who do Wallace and Gromit and a bunch of animated commercials. People here in America know them from the Chevron cars and the sheep for that mattress commercial and.
They did all those too. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they did those commercials, but they I don't know if they did this or they just distributed the shorts in the film. It's a bunch of shorts actually that you can find on Atom Films. I don't know if you can find the whole feature, but they're animated with these little toys or what look like toys, like the little army toys that have the plastic base that they stand on. It's a cowboy, an Indian, and a horse, and they talk in French. And I was falling asleep, and I would wake up, and these little toys would be talking about each other. And I was like, oh, fuck, man. No, I don't know what the fuck is happening here. It's too much for me. But it looked cool, though. Win the audience award.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so I'm expecting to watch it fully awake and not be scared out my fucking mind when I see it. But anyway, man, we're going to talk about your experiences at Fantastic Fest. I almost said Numathon. And we're going to make up some shit as we go along because I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about. It's been a slow kind of week right now. But one thing we can talk about, as we do every week, we're going to talk about the top 5.
Top 5 brought to you by Spill.
All right. Let's go ahead and see what's coming in at numero 5.
Number 5.
There you go. Soul coming out your asshole. That would be Surrogates. Still hanging in there. It's made $26.4 million so far. Brought in 7.3. And the movie.
Now, have you guys seen this yet?
I did not. The night that those movies were shown, we split it up. I went to go see another movie while Cyrus and Leon saw Surrogates.
What other movie did you go see?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think I went to go see that Tyler Perry film. I can do that all by myself.
So what did they think about Surrogates?
They liked it. They said it could have been better, but for what it is, it wasn't bad. And we've all read the graphic novel that it comes from. And I haven't seen the movie, but they said it's kind of different. But they said it was still entertaining. Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it yet. That's why I'm curious. I want to go see it this week.
They both gave it a matinee.
Well, then that's what I'll pay to see it.
Yeah, they said it's entertaining. If you go in not expecting a whole lot, but kind of a cool premise that's done adequately, then you're going to get what you like. It's the Bruce Willis movie where everybody has a robot to represent themselves in society because robots if you're a robot, you can make yourself look prettier or more charismatic. You can go out and party and have sex with the hot chick in an alley that you always wanted to. So anyway, that's at number 5.
In the alley you've always wanted to have sex in? Is that what you mean?
I have. Well, shit, where have I not wanted to have sex? I mean, damn, if it's an open space, I want to be there. Ass sticking all out and everything. So...
All right. Which brings us to the number 4 film.
Caught you so off guard, you didn't even sing it that time. It's The Invention of Lying, which brought in slightly more, very slightly more, brought in $7.6 million, and it's the opening weekend for that. So it has a little bit to go before it makes its money back. That movie was made for $18 million. So I don't think it's going to get the money back at the theater anytime soon, but on DVD, who knows?
Yeah, I know nothing about this film except the trailer, so
Well, it's Ricky Gervais who directed this along with somebody else, and I was just Leon and I reviewed this tonight, or he did. He came in and reviewed it, and I was doing some research on the film, and it sounds kind of cool. It's like sort of like a Twilight Zone comedy premise. I mean, it's a world where no one lies, everyone tells the truth, and no one even knows the concept of lying. So when Ricky Gervais starts lying about something, he pretty much is a badass. I mean, he becomes pretty much God because he can say whatever he wants to and people will believe it.
Wow, you'd love this universe.
We've already talked about that.
I'm sure you did.
Believe me. I found flaws with this movie because I would be so perfect in that world. I'll be using all my powers for evil, which is pretty much just trying.
Which is what you do now.
Which is what I do now. Yeah.
You don't use any powers for good. When was the last time it's like, wow, Corey uses power for good? No, Corey uses powers to get beer and ass. That's what Corey uses his powers for.
That's kind of good for me. So yeah, I should have been the central character in this movie. Not that movie is not realistic at all. Put me in it. It'll be fucking true to life. So let's go to number 3.
The number 3 film.
Now, this is pretty cool for not only a couple of movies that we've seen before, but were featured as a double feature. And that is Toy Story and Toy Story 2, both done in 3D. They both brought in a total of $12.5 million this weekend. And like I said, those were re-releases. So everybody still loves Toy Story, man. Pixar can do no wrong.
Well, I mean, it's, films that are considered somewhat classics and they're done in a new way. And it did all right. I mean, this wasn't true Pixar money. It did okay.
Yeah, but like I said, considering that these were movies that were already out, I mean, kids have this movie on their DVD shelf all around the world. And
sure, but this was a 3D presentation. It wasn't just a re-release of the film. It's not like, hey, come out and see it again. It's like, no, come out and see it in 3D like you've never seen it before.
Well, no, that's Disney's marketing genius right there. This whole 3D thing, they're able to cash in on a lot of stuff. So, but is that it? Is that what you have? Is all you have to say?
I missed this. This played at Fantastic Fest, and I skipped it because, well, I've seen them, and I'm not the biggest fan of the Toy Story movies, so I wasn't excited to see that they redid these.
I know. You have no heart, man. I love Toy Story and Toy Story 2, the greatest sequels ever made.
Stop it!
I consider Toy Story and Toy Story 2 to be right up there with Alien and Aliens, Godfather 2. I'm sorry, like a movie to have a perfect sequel, Toy Story is right up there. But that's just me.
It is just you because you just compared Toy Story to the fucking Godfather.
Yes,
take a step back there, Corey.
You goddamn right, I did. And compared it to Alien and Aliens also.
Because you're really easy on animated films. So.
No, you know that's not true.
I know it's true. You don't know it's true.
You love those fucking you love those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I told you that was some bullshit.
Who doesn't love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I don't.
Well, I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I acknowledge that I love some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You're not going to lay that shit on me like I refuse to acknowledge that.
No, I know you're going to acknowledge it. I know you go to the mountaintop and yell out Leonardo and all the other turtles' names, but I'm telling you don't like Woody, but you
Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Leonardo. All right, get it? Get your shit together.
I ain't got to get shit together. I hate them goddamn. I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love the first movie, the live action movie, but the latest animated movie, I wasn't crazy about. That's just me though. Again, I'll take Woody over them fucking turtles any day.
Yes, you will.
Let's to another animated movie.
The number 2 film.
Cloudy, with a chance of meatballs.
I still need to see this fucking thing.
Okay, this movie is great, man. It is one of the funniest movies I've seen this year. Brought in $16.7 million this weekend, up to a total of $82.4. The movie cost $100 million to make. At number 2, still in the top 5, it takes a chance at hitting that $100 million mark, and it deserves it. I would love to hear your opinion on this because it is a really, really funny and adorable movie, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it now that I'm all caught up with everything. I'm going to go and hit the Alamo Drafthouse this week and catch up on a bunch of things I haven't had a chance to see.
Yeah, don't go looking at surrogates first. Go see Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I'm telling you. I'm trying to tell you now what you should go see. Now that you're catching up on stuff. Listen to Father right here.
Father? Are you trying to tell me you're my daddy? What kind of gay-ass shit is that, motherfucker? Jesus Christ.
I'm your daddy. Call me daddy. All right, let's move up to number.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me pull out the geek and go, no, you're not my father. All right. So nobody else is sitting there going, but Carla, why didn't you do a Star Wars reference? There it is. All right, now we can move along to the number 1 film of the week.
God damn, you caught me off guard with that. That's action-packed right there. Carlisle, the way you said that.
Damn right.
We are up to number 1 here with a movie that I was hoping would be there, and it made it. Zombieland.
Zombieland.
Now check this out. The movie.
I will check this out.
Check this out, man. The movie brought in a cool even $25 million this weekend. The movie cost $23.6 million to make, so that is a very profitable film, and I'm happy about that because in Zombieland, I would love to see these characters played by Woody Harrelson and that fucking Michael Cera ripoff. I forgot the kid, Jesse Eisenberg.
Why does he have to be a Michael Cera ripoff?
Because I couldn't think of his name at the moment. That's why I was copping out. But I love this movie, man. This movie is a lot of fun. And fuck you people out there who says Spiel is easy on zombies. You guys love zombie movies. No, fuck you if you haven't seen the film.
Well, Corey's really easy on zombie movies.
No, I'm not.
This movie. I don't know why you're all up and excited about this movie. This movie wasn't that.
You are a fucking liar. You take that shit back. Tell me you're fucking with me.
I'm totally fucking with you, man. This was fucking crap. Oh my God, I love this movie. I was kind of pissed that you guys recorded without me on this one, but it was one of those things where it was just a really crazy time. But yeah, this movie kicked 10 different kinds of ass. I absolutely love every minute of this thing.
Oh man, this movie is so badass right here. This movie has a lot of good characters. Woody Harrelson plays the badass zombie killer. Jesse Eisenberg plays the cowardly but smart zombie killer who survived because of his cowardice. And you have the girls in there, Abigail Breslin, and what was that other chick's name? The hot one? She's so hot. Her name.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Now that you've completely caught me off guard.
Thousands of spilios out there like, God damn it, her name is this. Get it right.
She was just here in town. I'm surprised you don't have it tattooed on your ass already.
You know how I am. When I got through tagging
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
Yeah, I hit that, man. You know, when I hit something, I forget about it. I send her on her way. Yeah, she was good. This is a good movie, man, and it proves to you two things here. I want to get your opinion on this. First of all, it's the obvious. A lot of people have said, the zombie genre, what can you do with it? It's over. You can't do anything more original with it. And you always know my response. It's the creativity that will make it. As long as people have imagination, they can make anything out of anything that seems.
Well, the thing is that the zombie genre isn't played out. The problem is that 98% of everything that comes out in the zombie genre is the same fucking movie. It's all some retooling of Night of the Living Dead via PlayStation. I mean, it's all survival horror. And what Zombieland did, what a number of zombie films have done this year in particular, is it does something we haven't seen before, and it tells a new kind of story. What Zombieland does different than any other zombie film we've ever seen is it takes place 3 weeks to a couple of months after the zombie apocalypse. We don't know exactly how long it's been, but it's it's a little while after it's happened.
Well, Dawn of the Dead actually took place right after it happened too.
No. I'm talking about this takes place several weeks after, and as a result, the only characters in the movie are all very smart, very competent people who are not victims. This isn't a movie about watching the victims slowly get picked off as everybody tries to figure out what happens, like in almost every other zombie film. Instead, what you have here is a film about the people that already know how to get by with zombies. Now they have to figure out how to get by with each other, and it's a classic road comedy and a buddy movie set in a zombie universe, and it really is. It takes two different types of movies, puts them together, and creates a really fucking funny movie.
Yeah, that was my thing about the movie, is that they actually were able to take a comedy and make it a very clever comedy within a zombie apocalypse film. I mean, which I'm happy about, because maybe it's something that's easier done with zombies, but a lot of people have, studios especially, were saying like, oh, well, the horror comedy is something that's just not going to be very profitable these days. And the last time I heard that said was done with the movie Slither.
Well, the thing is zombie comedy or horror comedies aren't usually a big money draw because generally speaking, they don't work, because people think you put comedy, you put horror, you get a horror comedy, you got, box office gold. And that's not the way it works. It's very tough to construct a movie that is both scary and funny.
Well, I think that's because zombies are probably easier to pitch, because Slither was actually a pretty good movie, and it was.
Yeah, Slither's not bad.
Yeah, and then Slither itself was a zombie movie in some sort of capacity, and it was like, wow, this movie is very clever, it's very funny, it deserves to actually be a midnight film, and a lot of people, I just don't think it was pitched right, and a lot of people didn't see it. But
it was a very hard movie to sell. I mean, Slither is really hard, and the thing is that the guys who made it didn't realize that they were ripping off another film. They literally, yeah, they had no. Apparently, they had. God, what's the name of the writer director? Slither.
What for Slither?
Yeah.
It was James Gunn, man, who did that.
Yeah, James Gunn, that's his name. He apparently had never seen Night of the Creeps.
He had never seen Night of the Creeps because I thought he was paying homage to that movie.
Well, because it really looked like it, but apparently he claimed that he had never seen it. The producers had never seen it. Nobody who had really worked on the film was really familiar with that particular movie. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what they've said. And it's a cute little film. It's a fun horror comedy. It was well made. It was definitely one of the better things James Gunn's ever been associated with. How do you sell that movie? It's a movie, even now, even though I've seen it, it's very hard to sell to my friends without, having to reference films, which is something that studios generally don't do. They're not going to be, for those of you who love Night of the Creeps, here comes Slither. It's like, huh? What? You're going to talk about a 20-year-old? I don't know what you're talking about. So, but this one worked because it's easy to sell zombies. All of these actors are recognizable and are somewhat draws on their own. And we're coming into October. This is the first weekend of October. People want to see horror movies and they want to have a good time. And that's what Zombieland was.
I think people want to see something besides another fucking Saw movie. This is a good alternative here. So.
Well, no, you say people want to see something other than that, but the people who want to see Saw is going to make the same money it makes every year. It's going to make $30 to $32 million because the same fucking people will go and see it over and over again. Whereas, this didn't make that money, but it did make the money it needs to make, and the word of mouth is going to push it. It's going to be strong next week because it's a really strong movie. It's one of my favorites of the year already. I adore it. I can't wait to get a chance to watch it again. It's one of the very best things that played Fantastic Fest this year.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. It's a very crowd pleasing movie. If you haven't seen it yet, do yourself a favor and see it with some friends because it's very funny. And it's funny because I'm looking at some of the other movies right here that opened up this week.
Yeah, we have two other big films that opened that did not make the top five.
They did not make the top five, but did well for the budgets that they had, and didn't get as much distribution as far as the theaters go as with these other movies. And that would be Whip It and Capitalism: A Love Story. Whip It they kind of brought in the same amount of money. See here that they both brought in $4,850,000, which rounds up to $4.9 million a piece. And Capitalism probably I'm sure was made for less than $15 million. Whip It was made for $15 million, so not bad for the small movies that they are.
Well, as Michael Moore said in his email today, he did very well this weekend. Several people have spun it to where, this is the poorest opening he's had since Bowling for Columbine. But at the same time, it's not the incendiary kind of movie that his previous films were, and those were films set during the Bush era, and people were angry and wanted to see a film that made them feel like they weren't the only one who felt that way. And now he's making a film, with a Democratic slant to a degree. Only a slight one this time, but he's essentially making a movie for Democrats during a period of time when they have unprecedented power and haven't done anything with it. So people aren't feeling as charged up to go and see his films, but he's still going to probably place in the top 5 all-time documentary.
I won't get into a political slant on this, but as far as the movie goes, I mean, it's not a headline movie. It's not like Fahrenheit 9/11, where that's the kind of title that you could see clearly in the headline of a newspaper. Or Bowling for Columbine, which is very steered towards the incident at Columbine, and so this movie is a little more under the radar than that. But even though it's about a very hot topic right now, which is not about capitalism itself, it pretty much is an outline of what led up to the economic crisis that we have right now. So I like the movie, but
it's a great film. I enjoyed it a lot. As we don't often discuss politics here, and people have been asking recently. I am something of a Republican, and I really enjoyed this film. I don't necessarily agree with his ultimate thesis, but I do think it's a good film, and it's something that you should definitely see. It's a very important film, especially for what we're dealing with in this day and age.
It's funny because don't consider myself to be part of any party, but I'm definitely. I definitely lean the furthest from being a Republican, but I also don't agree totally with the movie either. So I think it's you're right. It is something that people should see, if nothing else, but to just at least make up their own mind over, because there's a lot of things in there where you can turn your head away from it, but a lot of the things that are talked about are things that are affecting us right now, and I can't help but think that a lot of things that you're saying, whether you agree with Michael Moore or not, are some things that are very true to our situation right now. So yeah, it's a really good movie. But other than that, that covers the top 5.
What did you think of Whip It? I haven't seen Whip It yet.
Well, I've been summing it up in one word: cute. It is a very cute film. And I guess I described it to Leon when we reviewed it as comfort food. I mean, you're going to walk in there and you're going to know what that movie's about, how it's going to play out, what the ending is going to be. And that's okay, because it's just the movie that you want to see to actually enjoy the story, for knowing that it's going to work out in the end to how it does work out. And you're also going to like the characters in it. I mean, there's a lot of people in there that are likable. I mean, Ellen Page, I really haven't seen her in anything that I don't like her in yet, but it was some actors that returned in there, like, Jesus Christ, I forgot the guy that was in City Slickers. You know who I'm talking about. He also narrated The Wonder Years.
Oh, Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern was really good in that movie, man. It was great to see him in there. And I'm always rooting for a female director to do well, because it seems like the older females get in Hollywood, that's their best future, is to be behind the camera producing or directing. And she's produced a nice little film, and she directed a nice little film, even though I think she also produced it. And it's a fun film, especially if you're here in Austin, because although most of the movie was filmed in another state, there's a lot of Austin in this film, and it's a very recognizable Austin movie. So I had a nice time with it, man. Nothing I will remember greatly, but it was an enjoyable film.
Right on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Everyone I've talked to really enjoyed it, and I love the trailer. I know a lot of people saw the trailer like, "Oh my god, that looks terrible," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? That looks like it's adorable," and that's what everybody said it is. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, if you think it's adorable, then I think that's what you will get. It's a coming of age movie on roller skates, really. So yeah, Marcia Gay Harden is really great in the movie. I always like that actress, man. She's playing a tough Texas mom in this, and she's like I said, all the actors in this movie are good. Even Jimmy Fallon, who I heard that. I'm gonna change subjects here, switch gears real quick because I feel kind of bad. I heard that Jimmy Fallon has listed us as one of his favorite websites, and I feel kind of shitty now because I think I talked crazy shit about him during our review.
Real? Oh, wait, Jimmy Fallon listens to us?
Now look, I'm going by one comment from somebody who said they posted a comment on the Whip It review that said, "You realize that Jimmy Fallon has you listed as one of his favorite websites." Now I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't even get excited. I thought like, oh shit, I feel bad now because I think in that movie I said sometimes Jimmy Fallon annoys me, but I liked him in this movie, so I didn't really say anything terrible about him. But I don't want to talk shit about the guy if he likes us. But hey, I'm just sure.
But you'll talk shit about him if he does.
But I talk shit about it anyway because look, Jimmy Fallon knows. He's a talk show host, a late night talk show host. Half his living is making fun of people in the news and actors and politicians. So yeah, he knows how it goes. Fuck it. If that is true, I guess if somebody can find that and actually tell us if that is true, because I'm kind of skeptical about it myself. But if they can find it and point out that it's true and give us a link, because a person to give us a link. So I've been going through and I did it like for about 10 minutes trying to find a website that referred to Jimmy Fallon that listed us. I found like his website for his talk show. I went to some site that said it was his official site, and I don't see anything. So I'm not really buying it right now. But if somebody can like point us out to it, then great. Hello?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gone. I was like, he on the other end, like, but
No, I have no idea what to say to that.
hey, say it's cool if it's true. If not, then whoever told us that lie. But hey, that's cool. Jimmy Fallon.
And whether he likes us or not, I've always liked Jimmy Fallon. I haven't watched his late night show because I don't watch TV, but I like Jimmy Fallon.
Well, if you remember, we all liked that baseball movie that he did.
Oh yeah, no, Fever Pitch with Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, no, we all liked that movie. So even if I did talk shit about Jimmy Fallon, hey, I liked your movie. What do you want me to do? And I'm all defensive. What the fuck do you want me to do, Jimmy Fallon? Shit.
Phil wasn't around then. I mean, that was half a decade ago. But whatever, it's all good.
Man, Jimmy Fallon, shit, I'm kissing your ass now. All right, fuck it. And the thing is, if he doesn't have us listed as one of his favorite websites, then fuck you, Jimmy Fallon. Shit, fuck you in your movies, in your talk show. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, somebody tell us if that's true or not. So, let's go ahead and move on to the Fantastic Fest, which you attended.
Yes, I did. You could definitely say that I attended it.
Yeah, you did a lot of shit at Fantastic Fest. I heard you beat somebody up.
Well, I got in Fantastic Debates, which ended up I was boxing.
No, I heard y'all were like halfway boxing because there was no face hitting. It was like
I wasn't allowed to. I wasn't allowed to hit him in the head.
Okay.
So
now you said that was your rule. I think it was okay. Now tell people what Fantastic debates are, because I didn't go and I don't know.
All right, this was one of the many parties they have at Fantastic Fest, and Fantastic Debates is where they a group of people this year. It was four matches, so eight folks get together and they have a topic that they have to debate, and you debate. And then after the debate, you put on boxing gloves and you're in the boxing ring and you beat the crap out of each other for 2 1-minute rounds.
For 2 1-minute rounds, huh?
Yeah, and the first matchup was Devin Faraci from Chud.com against John Ehrlicher, who runs Master Pancake Theater here in Austin, who was posing as someone else. That was the big gag of that was Faraci thought he was actually debating a guy who was the head of the Michael Bay fan club and ran a website called Baywatch.com. So he was all ready to debate this guy, and he gets there and realizes that this guy is a professional comedian who's ready to take the piss out of him.
Well,
and
that's
so
a dirty trick.
So they argued the merits of whether or not Michael Bay should be given the death sentence rather than an Oscar. And then that was followed up by a guy named Brad. I want to say, is his last name Miska? Brad, I'm trying to remember what his last name is. But he ended up, he's an online film critic who ended up debating a woman here who started up the Hey Homo series at the Alamo Drafthouse. And they argued the merits between, what was it? Whether or not vampire movies are gay. And it was a pretty lame debate, which then led into a embarrassing fight in which he got his ass kicked by a girl. Now we say he got his ass kicked by a girl. She's an ex-Marine, and she rolled her shirt up, and the girl was fucking cut. I mean, it was pretty insane.
I don't give a fuck. You got your ass beat by a girl. Ain't nobody gonna be looking at her muscles, considering she's a Marine. I hate to say it in this society. If you get your ass kicked by a girl, that's basis for being called a pussy. But I didn't say I adhere to that. But I'm laughing at his ass.
And then it was the third matchup was me versus cinematical editor in chief Scott Weinberg. And so me and Scott, there was a slight offense early in in Fantastic Fest, and we were all drunk at the time, and so one thing led to another to where we had a grudge match, and so this was our grudge match, and our debate resolved was fuck you, and so we sat.
Debate? Fuck
the debate was resolved. My point of view was fuck you, and his counterpoint was no fuck you. And so essentially it was us insulting each other, taking turns lobbing insults until we put on the gloves and then wailed on each other, which, holy crap. I mean, I've heard in the past that boxing is one of the toughest sports you can do. They don't tell you how fucking tough boxing is. Boxing is not easy. It is one of the most athletic things I have ever done in my entire life. After about 30 seconds, they say it's like running underwater. It's like running a marathon underwater. 30 seconds in, you're already exhausted. You are getting tired. I mean, it didn't look like we were fighting. We were pummeling the shit out of one another. We were literally swinging our weight into each other's rib cages. And we both ended up bruised. In fact, I'm relatively in shape. I work out 3 nights a week. Scott doesn't. So by the second round, I was about to keel over. I can only imagine how he felt. And we boxed for about half a round, and then he put out his glove, and I hit him, and he took a dive, and he stayed on the ground for about 10 minutes. He just rolled out of the ring and laid next to the ring going, oh, my God, that was the toughest thing I've ever done. And I was just fucking wiped. It was rough, man.
Yeah, boxing is crazy, man. Wii boxing whooped my ass. Mario kicked the shit out of me. I'm telling you, man, it's not easy.
It's not Wii box. I've Wii boxed before. Wii boxing is fucking nothing. Until you've actually thrown your weight into another human being and done that a couple dozen times, you have no idea how fucking hard boxing is.
No, boxing is hard. I was in a lot of people don't know, I was in basic training. That's all I will say about that until like some later point. But and one of the things you have to do is hand-to-hand combat, and it's essentially gets down to like a modified form of boxing, and it was like it's fucking hard. You got to really be in weight. I mean, you got to be in shape, and by that point we were, because they worked us so fucking hard, so we were able to go a little bit longer than you guys did. But it is hard. You want to throw up at the end.
Yeah, no, that's how I felt. In fact, I had to spit out my mouthpiece because I couldn't breathe. It was goddamn. But so. Finally, then we had the final round of Fantastic Debates, which was Alamo Drafthouse founder Tim League debating and ultimately boxing Uwe Boll.
Now, Uwe Boll, a lot of people don't know. He called it. I don't know if there's a difference between like a pugilist and a boxer, but he claimed he's known as being a professional pugilist, and he has beat the shit out of many film critics.
Well, no, he used to be a Golden Gloves boxer when he was younger.
Yeah.
He boxes. He hasn't done it in a while. In fact, what was funny was he was talking about. He's like, "Oh, I went to the gym the other day just to work out and get in shape again, and I sparred for about 20 minutes and I couldn't do it anymore, and I was just like, oh shit, I'm out of shape." And everyone's like, 20 minutes, Jesus Christ, we couldn't go 2. Yeah, but that led to one of the weirdest moments of my life. One of the strangest things I have ever done, encountered, been involved with in my life.
What, Uwe Boll beat the shit out of you? What happened?
No, I'm in the locker room, and they give us our safety equipment, which, for liability reasons, we had, full-on safety equipment, which meant we had to put on a jock strap and a cup. So I go into the locker room and I strip down and I'm bare ass naked, pulling on my jock and my cup, and in walks Uwe Boll, who then starts stripping down to put on his jock strap and cup.
You telling me about you putting on a cup and jock strap is the weirdest moment of my life right now. Please continue.
No, ponder that for a moment. I'm standing naked in a room with Uwe Boll while Uwe Boll is getting undressed.
Did you just ask me to ponder you sitting in the middle of a room or standing in the middle of a room doing whatever, naked, talking to another naked guy?
I wasn't talking to him. At that point, I'm like, holy shit, I'm naked in a room with Uwe Boll.
You being naked in a room doing anything, you want me to ponder that? You out your fucking mind?
I'm not saying ponder my dangling dong.
That's part of it.
I'm not saying think about my private parts naked. I'm saying, holy crap, imagine for a moment what it's like to be naked in a room with an undressing Uwe Boll.
No, I will not. But I'll take your word for it.
It is the strangest fucking moment I've ever had. It's kind of like, holy shit, how the fuck did I end up with this life? This is not how this was supposed to happen.
So how big is Uwe Boll?
I did not check him out. It was literally one of those. As soon as I realized what was happening, I scooted behind the lockers, and I'm like, "Holy crap!"
You took a little peek.
I took no peek.
You didn't see. You weren't curious to see how big Uwe Boll was.
Okay, imagine this for a second. Just think about this.
Okay.
Here's an awkward situation for you. You're naked in a room with Uwe Boll. Here's an even more awkward situation. You're naked in a room checking out a naked Uwe Boll, and Uwe Boll catches you.
Okay.
There's something you're never, ever going to live down in your life.
And then he says, "You like what you see?"
Actually, what was funny was later on, we were all geared up, and I go and I start stretching out, and I go and I do some push-ups, and Uwe walks past as I'm doing push-ups, and he goes, "Finally, somebody who fucking takes this seriously." And it was just like, oh my God.
Damn, sounds like you should have been boxing Uwe Boll naked.
No, fuck no. He took it easy on Tim.
And Tim,
and I was told,
Tim, for people who don't know, Tim League is the pretty much founder of the Alamo Drafthouse, one of the best theaters in the country.
Founder, owner, operator. He and his wife started it up, yeah. And apparently several females. He was all about it. He's like, I'm doing it. I'm boxing Uwe Boll. I'm going to get my ass knocked out by Uwe. That's what's going to happen. He was all for it, and he was ready for it, because Tim is one of the coolest fucking guys I know.
And I heard he went in there drunk as shit, too.
Oh, he was drunk, and he was ready to go, and he's like, I am going to get my ass kicked by Uwe Boll tonight. This is going to be the greatest night of my life.
And Uwe Boll is considered, if you don't know, it's debatable, but a lot of people say he's one of the worst directors out there because he's directed a series of video game movies that...
He was one of the worst directors of all time.
You liked one of his movies, which was Rampage recently, but you used to think he was one of the worst directors out there because of the video game movies that he made, which critics unanimously, almost universally said that all his movies are terrible.
But then, of course, then his reputation was saved by Aaron Seltzer, Jason Friedberg, who are the worst directors in the world, hands down. So Uwe, one of the worst directors in the world, is about to beat the shit out of Tim League, and he takes it easy on him. Apparently, several of the most important women in Tim's life all went to Uwe and said, Uwe, look, we know Tim said he wanted it to be serious. He wanted you to be serious about this and box him and kick the crap out of him, but please don't hurt him. please don't hurt him. And so Uwe took it easy on him.
Well,
But
yeah, what kind of man are you gonna be if you go in there and beat the shit out of a drunk guy?
Well,
No, out of a drunk guy who can't fight anyway.
Also, the other thing was at one point a guy walked into the locker room and somebody's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Oh, Uwe asked me to come in case he knocked out Tim League too early so that he could box someone else and show what a badass he was."
Oh! Wait a minute. The guy that came in was the badass, or to show how badass you
Uwe was that he could knock someone out and then go and box someone else.
Yeah, no, I heard he was. I heard he's in the ring. I hear he can knock somebody out cold. And now, granted, I only heard about him knocking out film critics, who are a bunch of film dorks anyway, who can't fight.
He is big. That's the thing, though, is, you see him in photos and such. You don't realize that he's cut. He clearly works out. His arms are fucking huge, dude. When he put on his sweats and his sleeveless shirt, it was like, oh fuck me, that guy's fucking big. Thank God I'm not boxing him. Thank God I'm boxing the guy from Philly who
who can't fight either. Yeah, I've seen Scott. I like Scott. He's a very nice guy, but
Scott's awesome.
He looks like Olive Oil with a beard. I mean, he can't whoop anybody's ass. But he's a nice guy, though. I'm glad you went easy on him.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. And did you get to see our match by any chance, or did you just hear about it?
I just heard about it.
Yeah, if you want to hear it, the audio's up on Cinematical. Cinematical has a story about it. Just Google Cinematical and Fantastic Debates. You can listen to the audio of all of them. They're most of them are worthy of listening to. I especially like listening to Chud's Devin Faraci go on with John Ehrlicher. That was really funny. And of course, Devin Faraci wrote up a piece today about himself getting his ass kicked verbally and boxing. So check those out. Those were a lot of fun. So yeah, that was the weirdest occurrence at Fantastic Fest. And then of course there's plenty of great films that played that we're going to be doing some reviews for. Some we probably won't do reviews for.
I'll do reviews for the bigger films. I mean, some of the smaller movies we'll either write about or just let slide. I mean, because there's a lot of smaller movies that you're not going to see anywhere else but Fantastic Fest. And
yeah,
those
and there's
deserve some attention, but not worthy of like a whole big shebang review.
The one thing I'm going to say for you guys, the film that I absolutely loved, it's coming out on DVD in Japan here shortly. It'll never get distribution here in the States, but it is hands down one of my favorite films of the year. You're going to see it on my top 10 list because it's in the top 5 easily. And right now it's really feeling like number 1. It's a film called Fish Story.
Oh, Fish Story. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Oh my God, I love that film so much. I've seen it 3 times. I have a screener for it, and I watched it once at home, and then I saw it both times I played at Fantastic Fest.
Cyrus we're gonna sit down and watch it. He has some screeners too. I'm gonna catch up on. That's why I didn't go to a lot of stuff because I'm gonna watch some of the screeners for these things.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of screeners, but there was a lot of stuff that they did not give us screeners for that I had to go see. And I saw literally between the screeners and at Fantastic Fest, I've seen well over 50 films. I haven't done the official count yet, but I saw a lot. In fact, this was a really great year because my wife was able to join me. She's never gotten the week off, and this year she got the week off, and so we went together and had just the best time. What was that?
I said, and she's like, why the fuck did you do this to me? This is crazy.
Oh, no, she loved it. She absolutely loved it. Awesome. She knows a lot of people who go to Fantastic Fest, and so it was her hanging out with a bunch of her friends and getting to see a lot of really badass movies.
Yeah, no, she looked like she was having a good time. No, I talked to her, and she's like, yeah, I'm having a great time here. I look like it's hard not to have a good time there. It's very tiring, but...
Yeah. Oh, no. You get exhausted very quickly, especially if you do the parties, which I think you were doing.
Oh, man. I hooked up with my friend Ian, who everybody knows started out the Access show with me. And him and I had not seen each other for a long time. I mean, he was here for the Spill party, and we hung out there for a long time. But we hung out for years. And Ian is hyper, and Ian loves to dance. And we went out to this party. We danced our ass off late at night, and we drank. And I wake up tired the next day because I would have to get up early and start making reviews. And
and you weren't able to go to any movies. I wonder why.
I love to dance more. I love to sit down and watch a movie. I watch movies all the time. I don't get a chance to dance with Ian that much. So hey, It was fun, man.
Oh yeah, because me being naked in a room with Uwe Boll sounded gay.
But we had our clothes on. That's the thing, and we danced with girls. So
That's not what you just said. You said you love dancing with Ian.
yeah, when we have two hot chicks dancing with us, and our clothes on. But it was good hanging out with him. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, with going to the parties, I mean, you go to a lot of movies, and like I said, there were a lot of screeners and whatnot. But the parties is where you get to really socialize with the people that go to the festival, and the people are really cool. I thought that people were going to be a bunch of pretentious assholes who went to these things, but that wasn't
Not
the
Fantastic
case.
Fest, baby.
No. Oh no, they were very, very nice. I might.
Did you get a chance to hang out with Nacho Vigilando?
I saw that guy try. He's a director of Time Crimes. I saw him trying to stick his fingers up somebody's ass, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna stay clear of this guy right here. I don't need to talk to this
Reigns.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand across here and not talk to him. But he was a cool guy. No, he was a cool guy. I think I shook his hand one time as he walked by because he was just being.
After he stuck his finger up someone's ass.
Yeah, I did. I figured why not spread the love.
I love
I
so.
figured if everybody's hands in here smell like shit, why not mine? But no, he was. It was a lot of fun. That was the thing, being able to because that guy was just drunk and going around just talking to anybody.
Well, this is his favorite festival, and he's the thing is he came 2 years ago, 3 fests ago, with his film Time Crimes. No one here had heard of him. Nobody knew anything about him. It was his directorial debut, and everybody fell in love with it. Everybody fell in love with him, and he's come back every year since. And this is what he comes. Last year he brought a shorts program. This time he just came, and he came just to hang out with everybody because he's got a bunch of friends here. And so he comes, he gets drunk, he hangs out, he parties, and has a blast. And that's what we love Nacho for. And he kept quoting Antichrist all week, and that was fucking awesome. And we had a lot of fun with it.
Well, no, it's a great festival because we interviewed a lot of directors. I think you saw us coming in one day to interview some people, and everybody was really cool. Like I got to interview one of my heroes, which is the monster from Rec. So it was, I mean, and after you're done with the review, it's not like at other film festivals where they pick up the talent and sweep them off and they got to go. These people are hanging out, and when you're talking to them, they sit down and continue to talk to you about the movie. And they have a lot of interesting things to say that you didn't even get a chance to get into your interview. So we were able to sit down, talk to people about their film, and after it was done, we'd sit down and have a beer with these directors, and they keep our actors or whoever, and they keep talking. I even did that with a guy. I'm going to put up the interview probably sometime this week, but the director of Vampire Girl versus Frankenstein Girl, the guy couldn't speak English. No, he could not speak English, but that guy loved to hang out and party. We hung out with him. What's that?
Have you watched that movie yet?
No, of course not. No, I'm going to watch it. When I have a chance, every movie that I was watching came in conflict with his film. And he even asked, he said, could you watch it? Because I want to get the opinion of a black person's point of view on this.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
No, he told me what it was. Gangaru, the thing where the deal where people will hear this in the interview because I questioned him about that, and he explained himself, but he asked me.
It's the single most offensive thing that played at Fantastic Fest. I mean, the moment that those characters come out, I was in a room full of critics. We were watching it over here, and everybody's jaw dropped, and they looked at me because I'd put in the movie. And it was literally, it's the most racist thing I've seen in years.
Okay, see, now, this was his explanation for it. I mean, he might be feeding me some shit because he was real cool with me. Because I said, hey, man, you over there calling me all kind of racist names and whatnot. He's like, and he said, which
oh, yeah, that's Japanese for shut the fuck up.
That's translated into shut up, nigga. No, he was sitting up there and he asked me, he said, through his translator, have you seen the movie yet? And I said, no, not yet. And I said, why? He said, because I really like to get an opinion from a black person's point of view because I did something in the film that I was trying to make a social commentary on, but for you, it might come across as racist. And that's and he's like, that's not what I'm trying to do. Gangaru, for people who don't know, is a trend in Japan, especially among high school girls, where they love black culture and black people so much that they try to be like that without realizing that their ways of trying to be black are the stereotypical coon and blackface characters to us here in America. So he was kind of pointing fun of that. So he says, I haven't seen the movie yet, but he says he meant no harm in that at all. He says, actually in Japan they love black people, and to the point where it kind of comes out wrong. So
yeah, well, that's definitely how this is now. That him saying that totally makes sense, and that works in context of what he's doing. But since the film isn't exactly full of social commentary, it feels like a trauma film.
Yeah.
When these characters with huge exaggerated lips and huge ears carrying spears and talking about Obama step out, it's a little jarring.
Well, I even told him, I said, look, I know you're probably trying to prove a message, but that shit still sounds fucked up. So
it's dude. See, that's what caught me off guard. Is it's you might get really upset and pull down the interview as a result. I mean, it's literally one of those things that it might piss you off something fierce.
Yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden the Jiggerbots from Transformers
they seem
that
like,
ain't shit.
They seem like Martin Luther King compared to this. So,
yeah, they definitely they feel loving compared to how far this goes. I mean, I saw Antichrist, and Antichrist is one of the most deliberately offensive films I've ever seen, and that didn't even come close to what Frankenstein Girl versus Vampire Girl
It's kind of weird because Japan was one of the countries that was very excited about Obama. So I don't know, I don't know.
Well, it definitely is clearly meant to be offensive, and him saying that he was making fun of that in Japanese culture. This film wasn't designed to be experienced by other cultures. I mean, it really is very, it's very Japanese.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he said that, and if he asked, I'm very curious to find out what your opinion is because I want to see what a black man has to say, odds are that's entirely what he meant, but that didn't translate to Americans at all.
I figured as much. I mean, look, the guy was cool. I took a couple of shots with him. I mean, what am I going to do?
They were all very cool guys. The Japanese who came with their films, they were a lot of fun. So, absolutely, I'm glad you got that interview, and I can't wait for us to do a review of Rec 2 because we've all seen it now.
Yeah, we have. We've talked about it extensively in a couple of podcasts, but I imagine at some point we'll do a review on it. I don't know if it's going to get any kind of release here in America, if it's anything like the first one.
Yeah, but you know what? All we did was talk about it in a couple of podcasts later, and it became something very much that we were identified with. So I think we should definitely put some focus on talking about it for everybody, because it definitely needs a review. There are going to be the people who go out and find it just like last time, and we definitely need to talk about this film because I really like the film a lot.
That's one of the few films that you and I came to odds over piracy, because I think that piracy actually, like, downloading that movie actually helped the first Rec, because they weren't pushing that movie at all, and that movie deserved to be seen.
Well, it helped Rec get recognized, but it didn't help the box office at all, and it certainly didn't help any DVD sales. The studio decided not to release the film because of the intense piracy that was around it, and they just simply remade it.
See, I heard the opposite. I heard that, like, the movie, in fact, it got remade for America because of the popularity that it took online. Like, they weren't going to. I mean, just like anything.
Oh no, that was it. Got picked up at Sitges long before it leaked online, and
but they're going to do it just like any other foreign film. I mean, whether it be something like The Departed or The Ring or anything, they don't bring those movies over here for wide release. They remake them. That's what Hollywood does, and I can understand why, because it's not going to be as profitable for a mainstream audience to see a movie with a foreign language with subtitles. I don't always agree with that, but
they did that last year with Let the Right One In, and that worked out rather well. So,
and they're remaking that.
Well, yeah, but they released it in theaters. It's available on DVD here. You can stream it through Netflix, and now they're remaking it in a film called Let Me In.
Yeah,
So,
which I heard they're using they're not using teenagers for. Are
no,
using
they
teenagers.
so many directors. I know two different directors who the company was interested in, who approached, and they both threw big fits with them about saying, "Look, I can't work with you because of what you're pitching." Because originally they were saying, "We want to do this with teenagers. We want to sexy it up a bit." And every director they talked to freaked the fuck out and said, "No fucking way." And once they realized that this thing had a solid fan base and was going to get just destroyed for going in an opposite direction, they decided to go in the direction of what the original film is, and now they're getting a lot of excitement about it. So
yeah, you should let the right one in. I mean, I saw it for sale at Walmart one night, so you can get it anywhere. But it's a really cool vampire flick, and
great film.
Yeah, and it deals with children. I mean, these are I heard they want to remake the film with kids who are like 13, 14 years old. But in this movie, these kids are obviously 11, maybe 12 years old.
12 is how old they are in the film.
Okay, so, and they're not holding back on any of the harsh themes of the movie. I mean, it deals with death, bullying, sex, all kind of weird topics that you normally wouldn't find associated with kids of this age, which makes the movie great. And I hear the book is even crazier than that. So it's a good movie, and I'm glad they're not remaking it with teens that look like they're from Melrose Place or some shit. So
anyhow,
want to get some email?
It's coming about that time, so I've got some tweets to answer. So just a quick thing, because I keep getting a lot of questions about this. If you want to tweet us questions, to send questions to me via Twitter to do on a Coco, you can follow me at www.twitter.com/massawyrm. That's MASSAWYRM. You can just find me at massawyrm if you on Twitter. And go ahead and follow me on Sunday nights around 11, 12-ish when me and Corey get our shit together. I send out the tweet and take questions for an hour, and then we go and answer them. Now, one of the things I wanted to say real quick, I keep getting questions like on Friday and Saturday, like people sending them as if they're email. It's not going to work that way. If you send it on Friday, Saturday, even Sunday during the day, I'm not going to get it. I have so many people that hit me with replies and such that they just get lost in the shuffle. So wait for me to go ahead and send out the call, and then we'll go through the tweets. So, Corey, now that we got that out of the way, you want to do some tweets?
Sure.
All right.
Yes.
Grog42 asks, what is your all-time favorite cameo appearance in a movie?
Well, I just saw one, but I can't answer that. So
See, I'm the same way. Zombieland. Zombieland is one of the greatest cameos of all time. Would you agree?
Yes, I would.
And we don't have to say who it is, and anybody who tells somebody who the cameo is deserves a shot in the gut and a kick in the balls, because that is one of the best surprises. Even I went in knowing that there was a surprise cameo, and when it happened, it just blew my mind. And it's such a great series of events. I absolutely love those. I love that cameo. But I have to say my favorite all-time cameo, the best cameo of all time, happens in Mel Brooks' Silent Movie. You familiar with this one, Corey?
I've seen Silent Movie. What is it?
Marcel Marceau, famous mime, gets a call from Mel Brooks during the movie and calls up and goes, "Hey, Marcel, would you like to be in my silent movie?" And Marcel gives the only spoken line in the movie Silent Movie by saying no. And that's just... I just love that joke. It's such a great joke. The only word spoken in that movie is by a professional mime.
I can see that. Yeah, let me think about that because I'm so taken back by Zombieland. But there's some movies out there that have, like some older movies that had some really good cameos. Because I remember seeing Sunset Boulevard, and there's a scene in there where they have sort of like what you had with Silent Movie. They had a scene where I think there's a card game going on at a table, and you have you have all these cameos by all these silent actors, like Buster Keaton. I think Billy Wilder was there, and there was some other female that was there. But that was kind of clever the way they did that. All these were people like in your cameo that never really talked that much, but they spoke in this film, even though Charlie Chaplin spoke in later movies like The Great Dictator and whatnot. But that was kind of cool. I mean, that's the only thing that can really come to mind right now because I can't really think of anything else. Can you think of any other movie outside of silent movie?
Yeah, there's one of my, and it's just one of my personal favorites, and it wasn't really a big cameo thing, but now in retrospect it is. There's a scene in a bad movie called God, is it Highway to Hell or Hell's Highway? I think it's Highway to Hell. In which there's a scene where they're in hell and they're at a club in hell, and Hitler, Genghis Khan, and Cleopatra are sitting around a table. But Hitler is played by Gilbert Gottfried, and he's the actual cameo in the scene. But Genghis Khan, the guy who's arguing with him, is played by Ben Stiller, who nobody knew at the time because this movie was made in like 1992. But it's Ben Stiller and Gilbert Gottfried having a conversation in hell. And I just actually particularly kind of like that. So
that's pretty cool. And I'm sorry, I said Billy Wilder directed the movie. It was Buster Keaton I was thinking of that was in that scene. So, yeah, there's a lot of movies where they do clever cameos where people are actually the voice of computers and certain things, or they appear over the radio. Like, I don't know if this counts as a cameo, but who was the comedian that did he was in Reservoir Dogs, and he was the guy who was the disc jockey in that, who was a DJ.
Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright, yeah. I love those cameos where it's not just a person who's seen, but it's a person who is, it's a person who it was only heard. Like, I thought it was really clever that they used Sigourney Weaver as the voice of a computer, and WALL-E.
Yes.
Yeah, I really find those very clever, where you really have to think about it and see, is that who I think it is? So, yeah, there's a lot of cameos that I like, but Zombieland, since it's so recent, is probably one of my favorites. I probably shouldn't even say it because it gives it away a little bit much. But
you know what? Let's go into another question that will tie in with a very similar answer from Rob Eternal. Hi, guys. Was there any film that you saw at Fantastic Fest that you think is an instant classic?
Wait a minute. What is that again?
Were there any films that we saw at Fantastic Fest that we think are instant classics?
Instant classics. I did not see any that were instant classics. I saw some that were really close to being up there as very entertaining movies. But I didn't see as many movies as you did, so that's probably an unfair question for me to answer. Did you?
Yeah, two. One of them, Zombieland. I think, honestly, Zombieland is one of those movies that it's going to be around for quite some time. It's going to be one of those movies that a lot of us have on DVD that gets passed around, that people watch and that people quote all the time because it really is one of those movies. I think that's definitely going down in the horror comedy classic category. It's going to be something that everyone's seen eventually, like Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, I guess I didn't consider it that because I saw the movie at a press screening a couple of days before Fantastic Fest.
Day before, yeah. But it was tied to Fantastic Fest.
Okay,
yeah.
Then if that's the case, then I'd say yeah, definitely.
And then the other one, Fish Story. That film I was talking about earlier, absolutely fantastic film. Gets better every time you watch it. I love the hell out of this film. I'll be talking about it more later, but I absolutely love that film.
Yeah, I hear that there's a movie that would probably be a cult classic, which is, like I said, the one I fell asleep in, which is A Town Called Panic, which seems to be picking up steam as a nice, cute underground film that people are really loving. So
I don't think that's going to be a cult classic. I don't think it's going to get that kind of attraction. It'll be something that occasionally gets mentioned, but by a couple of people. But really, it's just a festival darling that's never going to escape the festival circuit.
I can see that. The only reason why I said that is because I saw about 3 people who said I saw that high, and I loved it. So I didn't know if it was going to be like a really cool stoner film.
Yeah, it is definitely a stoner film. So,
but I like to see how people are going to warm up to Daybreakers because it's such a different approach to a zombie film. I mean, not a zombie film, but a vampire film, and I enjoy that movie a lot.
I love that movie so
Yeah,
much.
that movie is really cool, and I think that if there was anything that would actually come close to being a classic for me, it would probably be Daybreakers. Because, like I
Yeah.
said, when you see it, you're going to see this, and you're going to say, "Man, that was a really obvious idea for a vampire flick," and obvious in a good way. It's almost like, well, how come someone hasn't done this yet?
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you've also never seen before. I
Yeah,
mean, it's such a unique film. It's such a unique vision. It's by the Spierig brothers who did the film Undead years ago. This
yeah.
is such a fantastic debut. I will fully review this later because it is. We have to talk
Oh,
about this
that's
film.
another one I couldn't think of. Yes, we will be reviewing that later, and
There's about a dozen or so big films that we've seen that we really need to review, audio or video. I really want to do a video for that one because not only is there going to be a lot of great comedy there, but it's such a good movie.
no, that
Oh my God.
movie is great. That's probably for me. That is the best thing I saw at the festival is Daybreaker. So for my choice, yeah. I
Oh,
would
you
say
like
it.
that even more than Zombieland?
Well, like I said, I didn't see Zombieland. For me, I saw that like a couple of days before the festival, so it was at a press screening. So I don't even count it for me as being a part of the festival. I count Daybreakers more because I saw that at the festival with festival people, and
Yeah.
officially
Well,
for
it was
me,
it was
that's
actually the thing with that particular screening was they had that screening because it came up against the first secret screening, and all the press started complaining about that, so they set up a special screening for it.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying as far as a festival film for the festival experience for me, Daybreakers is the one that's an instant classic because I love that movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. Has its flaws, but we'll talk about that in the review. Got
Right.
another email?
Yeah, I've got one more tweet for us before we get out because we're running long today.
Okay.
What canceled TV show would you like to see a movie made of, like Serenity?
That's a good question. Canceled TV show that you would like to see made into a movie.
I'll let you
Go
think
ahead.
for a second
Go
while
ahead.
I hit mine. Quantum Leap. I'm a huge fan of Quantum Leap. I love the show. If you've never seen Quantum Leap, they're all available through Netflix right now. Check them out. They're awesome. The context of the show, it's Scott Bakula is a scientist who creates time travel, and he sends himself back through time. And essentially, he can only travel through time in his own lifetime. But what he does is his consciousness goes into the consciousness of into the bodies of other people, and they take his place in the future where he's sequestered. So they never actually see anything of the future, and he has to fix things that have gone wrong in their life. And the show ended on kind of a cliffhanger, not a real cliffhanger, but he never got home. The whole time he's trying to find his way to leap home. He never gets home, and they promised they were going to make films. They never did, and it's something that can very easily be made a film of because he ages as he goes along because he's still alive. And so I would love to see a film in which just, we get to find out where he is in the timeline and follow his further time travel adventures and hopefully maybe get him home. I don't know. We'll see. That's what I would really like to see.
Okay. Different strokes for me. I would, no, I don't really.
What you talking about, Willis?
Actually, I'm not going to lie. I would love to see how they kind of do a treatment of that. Somebody who takes a really good stab at Different Strokes, the way they did the Brady Bunch, because we make fun of that show so much these days. Because
No,
of
I'd love to not see that. I'd love them to actually do a true, honest to God follow up where we go on a cross country crime spree with the cast of that show.
No, we had that movie already.
Because almost all of them have been in jail at this point.
Well, shit, some of them have died, like the girl.
Oh, she did, didn't she? Yeah.
No, she died. I forget.
After bad drug problems.
Dana Plato. Yeah.
Yeah.
That chick died after like robbing a store. She robbed a video store and then posed in Playboy. And I was just like, and when I saw her in Playboy, I was like, wow, she's getting kind of hot, and she can off herself. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think about what TV shows I would like to seriously be made into a movie, and some have already been made into a movie, but I like to see them get it right. There was two Tales from the Crypts films that I know of so far, and neither one of them were really that good. But I really like that series. I would like to see them make a Tales from the Crypt film that was actually kind of true to the original EC comics and was actually creepy, not funny, but had some humor in there, but had that sense of creepy irony that the original EC comics did, and actually did it as a film. And because I love Creepshow so much. And
Right on.
I think they could probably pull that off these days if something.
Did you? Did you get to see Trick or Treat?
Yes, I did. And
did you like it?
I had a lot of fun with that. I had a lot of fun with Trick or Treat. I could see why that movie's going to DVD, but because it really would have got. I don't think it would have had an audience for a theatrical release, but.
You're high. That movie's so awesome.
No, that movie's good, but I'm telling you, I saw with a bunch of people who said the same thing I did. They were like, you know what? I can see why this is going to DVD. Even the director said it would have got passed up, and I was like, thank you. And even because I felt kind of shitty. I was like, I really am enjoying this movie, but I don't know if I would have actually released this theatrically. I just don't think there's an audience for those kind of anthology films. And the director was like, you know what? It probably would have got just passed up and gone straight to DVD without a hitch. But because they were able to do this sort of platform releasing to kind of play this movie in certain markets, build up an audience for it, it's kind of taken on a life of its own. And it's a great Halloween film, and I like it a lot. Yeah,
and it comes out on video on DVD this Tuesday.
Yes, yeah.
Tomorrow.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You people should check it out. It's great. It's great on DVD. So it didn't really scare me, but it captures the feeling of Halloween, and that's the important thing. And it's very funny. It has a good sense of humor. So I'm going to read one email here.
All right, make it a quick one because we're running long today.
Ain't nobody gonna kick us out of the studio. We got a little time, just a little.
No, yeah, but some of us have to fucking pee, asshole.
You gotta pee?
Wait. Sure, I got. Yeah, we've been doing this for 75 minutes.
No one can see you, man. You can pee in a cup or a bottle.
You know what? That's going to be great. That's exactly what my wife's going to. That's the moment she's going to walk in and be, "What the fuck are you doing?" So, Corey wouldn't let me end the show so I could pee.
I'm sure she's caught you doing a lot weirder things with yourself than peeing in a bottle.
Really? No, I'm not that interesting.
Like walking in with a naked film director who's getting ready to box. Let me see.
Well, there is.
This is from Dane. No, let me go to another one. That was Dane. I'll read your question on. Let's do this. There was a guy here who was a first time. Oh, here it is. He was a first time writer, so I want to get to his question. He says, "I was curious about your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the upcoming remake of the animated film Akira, and what you think of the original, if you've ever seen it? Personally, I love it and have seen it several times. However, I don't think I would like to see a kid-friendly PG-13 remake, considering the adult themes and sometimes slightly disturbing, brutal content of the anime." And that is from Tord. And Tord is from Norway.
And in Norway, they haven't heard that film is dead.
I haven't heard that film is dead. They finally.
Oh yeah, no. They finally killed it. There was the official thing about 6 months ago where Leonardo DiCaprio, who's producing it, said that it's a no go, that it's not happening.
Yeah, his company was producing it, and I was expecting it not to. I mean, it's a hard film to produce. Akira is the classic anime. I mean, besides the TV shows like Speed Racer, Battle of the Planets, Star Blazers. I mean, those are back in the early 80s. Those opened up the door for anime on television, but Akira really broke the boundaries for anime here in America, and I love that movie. It's a hard movie to describe, but it helped usher in the term cyberpunk too for a lot of people who weren't familiar with that term. I mean, it's associated with a lot of novels and whatnot, but a lot of people first heard cyberpunk from Akira, and Akira it's one of my favorite films, not just animated films, but films. And like I said, I think the story is kind of weird. Maybe it's a cultural thing because I don't understand it, but for them to try to make a remake, that movie is just like any other thing that has taken such a hold on popular culture that it's hard to remake that experience. I thought Akira was. I'll say anybody can do anything, but Akira was one of those really hard ones that I thought would be destined to fail. So,
yeah, it's the original is a classic, but it's a perfect example of how not to adapt a comic book. They took a 30-issue comic series and boiled it down to 2 hours, and it doesn't make a lick of fucking sense if you haven't read the comics, which most people in America hadn't. So the movie does not make sense. It doesn't work, and it would be – I was really dreading this because they were going to have to do one of two things. They were either going to have to make the movie make fucking sense, which means dramatically changing a lot of the stuff in the film, thus alienating fans and pissing people off and making a crappy adaptation, or they would have had to adapt it and then have a small fan base go, oh, wow, it's a live action version of the film we've been watching for 20 fucking years, while everybody else goes, I don't fucking get it. That's fucking retarded. So I'm glad it's dead. It was one of those, I was really relieved to hear that it's dead in the water. It should not happen. Although I'm hearing weird rumblings. I can't talk about this yet, but I've heard through the grapevine that there's some kind of, the reason why it got killed is there's some kind of weird competing project. So it's not an adaptation of Akira, but it's something that there was something that kind of possibly spooked them. So as I get more confirmation on that, I will be able to talk about that. But right now I can't.
It's Astro Boy, isn't it?
No, it's not.
I'm kidding. No, I'm glad that's dead. It's really hard to even see that being done, for me, being done with American actors. So, I don't know. I'm breathing a sigh of relief now. So, anyway, there you go, man. Go pee.
I am going to pee. All right. So, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.